I am live, and it looks like I might be solo today. My dad is probably sleeping. He had his afternoon nap, and it's really tough working for paychecks and sitting at your desk all day. Kind of similar to the working at the jail. He probably sleeping still in the office. So, big game tonight. I'm not going to slack. I'm up. I'm awake for an elimination game against this Miami Heat that just will not go away. They are a bad case of the herpes. I mean, it feels as though we have been in this series forever. I think this is now 12 straight playoff games against this Miami Heat team. Um, and to say it's been miserable, I think would be an understatement. So we got the game starting here in 12 minutes. I'm going to check and see if there's any big news. And I think there is actually some. So towards the end of the last game, Mike Gorman actually pointed out that Yaquez came up short and seemed to be limping with a hip injury. And I guess he has a hip flexor strain and he is out. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Yaquez, for a rookie, has been outstanding. He's one of those guys um, that we had an eye on. The Heat obviously also had an eye on, and they of course snagged him. It would have been great to have him on this team, but he's a gamer. He finishes at the rim well. He really gives us a hard time, and not having him out there should be big for us. Of course, the Heat probably is going to go to the local 24-hour fitness and find some guy who's going to hit seven straight threes against us. So we'll see about that. But yeah, Yaquez out. Porzingis, of course, is out. A lot has come out since Porzingis got hurt. The biggest thing that we've just heard so far and we think is going to be repeated is that there's no exact timetable. They're going to review it in a week. What I think's going to happen is something similar to what we saw in the regular season. They're probably not going to play Porzingis unless it becomes a necessity. I think and hope Porzingis will be ready sometime in the Eastern Conference Finals, but heaven forbid this happens. I think the only way we see Porzingis before the finals, the actual finals, is if we fall down 2 games to whomever we're playing. I think it's going to be kind of like a Gordon Hayward. I don't know if you guys recall, Gordon Hayward came back towards the end of one of our playoff runs and probably jumped the gun health wise because we needed him. We, of course, couldn't get over the hump with him, but it's probably going to be a similar situation. If we don't need Kristaps Porzingis, then hopefully he stays out. So, yeah, not too many moving parts overall. Uh, the Bruins have a lot more nuance to it, and the Bruins pre-games are a lot more interesting because there are a lot more moving parts. Even though, of course, we didn't want Montgomery to make as many changes as he made last game. There's a bit more to talk about. What I think is going to happen for this Miami Heat game, I think the Heat are probably going to do some dirty stuff this game. I think last game it really started to fizzle over. Um, a lot of nonsense has been happening, but last game I think two of the more egregious plays of the series happened. One of them was kind of under the radar, and I went off on it in the post game when I called out Kevin Love. So Kevin Love, um, by all accounts, tries to be, that Al Horford esque player, the veteran, the good guy. I know he dealt with some mental health issues, and he kind of brought a spotlight to that, which I appreciated. And mental health issues of players. Um, but Kevin Love made a play that was so dirty, and to see that out of a guy of his NBA tenure was super frustrating. And it's Jalen Brown. I don't know if you recall, Jalen Brown pressed him at half court, stole the ball, was making a run for it as Jalen Brown was in midair. Kevin Love stuck his leg out and tripped Jalen Brown in midair. It didn't get called, which is a joke, but Scal and Mike Gorman picked it up and noticed that on the broadcast. So for any of you who are stuck watching the national broadcast, I'm really sorry, but the local broadcast, as usual, is 10 out of 10, and they saw that. They actually showed a replay of it, and that was really dangerous. Putting your leg uh, across somebody's knees as they're up in the air as high as someone like Jalen Brown can get is just asking for trouble. Um, the other play, of course, was Bam Adebayo, and I don't want to rehash that too much because we kind of yelled about that for almost the entire post game show uh, on Monday, but that step under super dangerous. Um, Overall, the most important part of this game, and I put it in the description, is that we have to put it into this Heat team and move forward as healthy as we can. Prior to Porzingis going down, we were good. We had accomplished that goal in, you know, shining fashion, especially compared to the other teams throughout the league. Um, we of course lost one of our most important players in Porzingis. I think the thing that makes us truly different from last year, where we came up short against this Miami Heat team. But I don't think Porzingis, at least as far as we saw this playoffs, I don't think Porzingis was the key to beating the Heat. Anyone can comment on that and tell me otherwise, but Porzingis showed us this series that he's not the matchup breaker against the Heat that we had hoped he would be. I would have really liked to see Porzingis against the Cavs or the Magic. We really didn't get to see too much Porzingis against the Cavs or Magic this year. Um, the first game, Porzingis actually got hurt against the Magic this year, and we ended up getting blown out. Hey, what's up, Ron? Good to see you, man. I know basketball is not super your thing, but thanks for tuning in, Ron. I don't know where my dad is, Ron, so I might need to do a wellness check after that overtime loss. He he hopefully didn't go out and get eaten by a crocodile down there or whatever you guys have. So um, we'll see what Porzingis being out means for the rest of the playoffs. I think he would have been a great tool against the Cavaliers. He would have been a great tool against the Magic, but he should be a non-factor in us beating this Heat team. I think we should be able to beat this Heat team without him handily. Uh, Big Al's huge, and it really sucks, Ron, because the wheels fell off for Big Al last year, especially in that Heat series. He got super cold in some games. We really needed him, and this year he's really kept a high level of play, more so than I think he has in the past couple of years. And I think a lot of that had to do with Porzingis taking so many minutes away from him. So it's going to be interesting to see how Al can perform now that he's our best big man, which is not really what we want from a guy who is, I mean, is he Al Horford? I don't know how old he is now. 37 years old. He turns 38 in a month. So we'll see if Al can hold up. The big thing is we did go out and get Xavier Tillman, which of course, from the side view of the court, you can kind of get confused with Xavier Tillman and Al Horford. They kind of look the same from up above. So I'm hoping to see Xavier Tillman minutes today. I don't know why Joe has kept him on the bench. Um, this Heat team is not loaded, so there's no reason we need to have five shooters on the floor. So I know Tillman's offense is not the greatest, but what he's supposed to be good at is defense, lateral movement, steals, uh, and he's great against small ball. And that's exactly what this Heat team do. They don't have anyone who's taller than Tatum. I mean, Bam Adebayo, I think, is shorter than Tatum and Al Horford. So it really stinks that Tillman hasn't been out there. Hopefully, I anticipate Tillman to get some minutes tonight, some minutes against some actual starters from the Heat. I'm really hopeful that he can show us something. And, similar to Lori with the Bruins, I'm worried that Missoula is going to have a super short leash. So just like we want Lori to succeed, so we can see him out there. We need Tillman, whatever minutes he gets when he gets them, to succeed, so that hopefully Missoula can go to him, because I think he will be a good piece for us. And of course, Luke Cornett. Luke Cornett really didn't get much time last game. We went really heavy with Al, so hopefully Luke could get back out there. Um, it's going to be an interesting game. There's really not too much to say about this, other than the fact that we should beat this team. This series should be over tonight. Should be a gentleman's sweep. It should have been a sweep overall. And then we just got to hope for the Cavs and Magic to continue to beat the crap out of each other like they have been. One thing I will say is that from the time I've spent watching that series, it doesn't seem like those guys have any ill intent towards each other outside of wanting to beat each other. And I'm really looking forward to facing somebody who I think just wants to beat me on the court and not injure me or injure our players. So we'll see how it goes. Game time coming up in 3 minutes. My prediction for tonight, I think the spread is like minus 13 or minus 14 for the Celtics. Let me double check. Um, yeah, minus 13 and a half. I think the Celtics cover that. I think we should beat them handily. I'm really hoping that we can get our starters off this court as early as possible. Um, Joe Mazzulla came out today and oddly enough admitted to the fact that Porzingis called for a substitution 2 plays before he came up short and couldn't move. And for some reason, Joe kept him out there. Joe actually admitted this. It's almost like coaching malpractice. So um, hopefully Joe doesn't do what my dad's kind of been yelling about all year, where we're up 35 in the fourth, and for some reason he keeps the starters out there. Hopefully he has a feel for the game and a feel for the atmosphere of this Heat team and saves our guys. Because I really like, I'm totally fine beating these guys by 5 as long as we come out healthy. I don't need to beat them by 45. So if we're up big, maybe take it easy. Maybe take it a bit easy. We'll see overall, and we can start looking forward to some other things. So game time is almost up. If I don't hear about from my dad around halftime, Ron, please go check on him. uh, let's go Celtics, and hopefully we can put this series away. And I'll be back possibly with my dad. Um, or maybe it'll be like a tribute post game, and dedication to my newly deceased dad, and hopefully then we'll be able to celebrate a win. So, go Celtics, guys! I'll see everybody. Good night.